Okay guys, today I came over to my shooting spot to do a little shooting with my new Dynamic 357, and I thought I'd take a minute and make a little video and show you a couple changes I made since the first video introducing her. I named her Dinah because for some strange reasons I like to name my rifles. Anyway, so one of the new things I wanted to show you guys is my new Athlon Ares 4.5 to 30 by 56. All right. The white mark on the ocular here is a little whiteout I put on there to mark it for my eye, because I've been letting a couple friends shoot it, and they have better eyes than I do, so they're constantly changing this. So anyway, that's what this side looks like. I'll show you something neat. The windage cap pops in and out, whereas the elevation cap does not. Okay, and it has very nice clicks. I don't know if my phone will pick them up or not, but I think you could hear that. Okay, so it's got super nice clicks, and you know, not to dwell on the for overly long time, what I would really like you to understand, that this is one of the nicest scopes money can buy. For the money, I don't think you can even come close to it with any other brand, but that's just my opinion. Other than to tell you, the glass is absolutely crystal clear. All the functions are absolutely functioning perfectly. If you're interested, I put the side wheel on here. Athlon does not provide side wheels with their scopes, and I'm hoping one of these days they'll start doing that. Maybe someday soon they will. But for the time being, this is a 4-inch UTG scope I buy from Pyramid Air for $13, approximately. And I take my Dremel tool and I make that hole in the metal there larger with the rubber insert out of it first. Then I put that little rubber insert that goes inside here. It's got little like bumps on it. I sand it down with the Dremel tool that looks like a little round barrel or drum. I sand it down little by little by little and keep testing it until I just can press fit this on the focus knob or wheel, whatever you want to call it. And then there's a little set screw on top and bottom on the wheel that you tighten up just until it's snug, so as not to leave a scratch on the focus knob. And that just works absolutely perfect. Okay, you see how easy it is to turn that? And this is not coming off. It won't move. It stays perfectly. Okay. While I'm at it, I'll tell you that this magnification ring that you turns very nice and smooth. You know, there's quite a bit of resistance, you know, but there's no slop in it. It's not loose and sloppy like some scopes. It's just perfection. That's all I can say. Everything about this Athlon Ares scope is just perfection. The only scope I've ever owned that would rival this or surpass it would be the Athlon Cronus. Okay. And on that score, I want to tell you guys something. It's become very popular these days. because they're so heavily advertised, is these element scopes. You know, I think they gave one of those element scopes to everybody that ever made an airgun channel on YouTube. So everybody in the world seems to have one, and you know, nonstop praising them up one side and down the other. And I'm sure they're good scopes. I've looked through a couple of them on friends' rifles, and they're okay. I mean, I didn't feel like there was anything really to write home about. I thought they were just okay. Now, I'm going to tell you this. This Ares scope retails at Midway USA for $1,250. The Athlon Cronus retails for $16.99. All right. And actually, today you can go on Optics Planet and pick up a Cronus for under $1,500. Okay. Now, I've looked through a lot of scopes on rifles, on my friends own powder burners, and I'm going to tell you something. The Athlon Cronus and Ares scopes would rival an IOR Valdata all day long. So the point I'm coming to is Element Optics is selling one of their top end scopes, the Titan, for $800. Okay, and as far as I'm concerned, it's way inferior to this Ares. Just my opinion. Now, they also sell the Nexus for $2,000. Okay? And I'm going to tell you something. That Nexus for $2,000 don't hold a candle to the Athlon Cronus that sells for $1,700. All right? And then on top of that, they sell the Theos for $2,800. That's $1,100 more than an Athlon Cronus. You know, and I'm going to tell you something. That Theos is a nice scope, but it don't hold a candle to a Cronus. A Cronus is equal, in my opinion, to an IOR Valdata Recon G2 that sells for $26.95. So if you guys are insistent upon spending $2,000 or $2,800 for an element scope, before you spend your money, go to a gun store or wherever and compare that element for $2,800 to IOR Valdata Recon G2 for $26.95. $100 less, for God's sakes. If you really want to get crazy and spend some money, get yourself a Valdata Terminator for $3,400. One of the best scopes on planet Earth. I don't think anything can surpass it. There's a couple scopes in the world that would equal it, but like the Collis. But I don't think the Collis scopes are superior. So my point is, before you buy an element scope, check out the Athlon Cronus and the Athlon Ares. Okay? It's a hell of a lot more scope for the money you're going to spend. You can spend $1,700 on a Cronus instead of $2,000 for a Nexus or $2,800 for a Theos. For Christ's sakes. All right, that's enough about scopes. All right, spend your money how you want to, but for people like me that like to get value for their money, all I can tell you is go out and do some comparisons. That's what my 357 sounds like. And as you can see, I've got the regulator set at 180 bar. And I've got a brand new Emperor 357 from Donnie FL. Okay. My other Emperor had clipping problems. I don't know if it was due to the shroud that came on this gun or what. But when I first got this rifle, I had some clipping issues on my old Emperor, and so I gave it away to a friend and bought myself a brand new one. Okay. And as usual, you can see I'm using my FX radar, which I'm totally in love with. I'll never ever use a Pro Chrono with those sun shields and bullshit ever again. And this is the original model. A good friend named Courtney got me that for Christmas a couple years ago when they first came out. That was a hell of a present. And you can see I got my new 580cc bottle on there. And my custom hand grip and whatnot. This here's, I think I pointed out before, one of the new FX Keller gauges. They're about $160 a piece, maybe $180. As a matter of fact, I think they're $180. And I got one on here to read my reg pressure. I highly recommend you get one. I know they're expensive, but they read dead nuts perfect. I've compared that to my great big analog gauge and my great big digital gauge, and they're both reading dead on perfect. So it's money well spent to get you one of those to read your reg pressure. Okay? That'll let you know every time you go shooting, you check it. That'll tell you if you're dead on where you're supposed to be or not. You know, and if you're not, start seeing weird shit down there on your target happening, that'll be the first thing you check to make sure your reg pressure is where it's supposed to be. All right. Another thing I was going to point out, someone recently asked me about my skeleton stock from MDT. They thought it was missing a couple of things, and it's not missing anything except the things I removed. Okay, right up here, there's supposed to be a big round wheel and a post that goes up and down to raise this cheek rest up and down with a thumb wheel. And that thumb wheel weighs about a half a pound, so I took it off because I'm trying to eliminate as much weight as possible. Maybe not a half a pound, I'm exaggerating, but it weighs a lot. So I'm just adjusting it without that, raising it to where I want, and on the other side of it, I've got a couple set screws, which I'll show you in a second. And there's a big round thumb wheel thing here, and you can see I removed it too. And I've just got my butt pad for my shoulder hanging on here with one post and one thumb screw to adjust it in and out. One thumb screw to adjust this pad up and down. And I probably eliminated a half a pound or whatnot. Basically took some stuff off it I don't need. And if I don't need it, it's just a bunch of junk to me. You know, I'm a minimalist, which you might have figured that out by now. I got a set screw here and a set screw here, so I can raise and lower my cheek rest where I want it. And the point of it is, I figured once I get this where I want it and set these screws, what do I need this adjustment for? You know, once I've got it adjusted, the cheek rest adjusted where I want it, and the butt pad adjusted where I want it, that's never going to change. So I don't need an adjustment wheel here and here and all the junk that goes with it. Why? So I got rid of it. Okay? I think I told you in the first video that this rifle's human regulated. And I think you're all probably aware of all the reasons why I regulate my rifles with human regulators. I'm one of the very first people to convince Huma to create regulators for FX rifles. And I've been using them all these years. And without trying to criticize FX regulators, I'm just letting you know that for my money, I prefer the Huma regulators in my guns. All right. Today I'll be shooting some more of the NSA 93 grainers, which shoot just laser accurate out of this barrel. And the last thing I want to tell you is about the barrel. This is a 700 millimeter dedicated slug barrel for shooting slugs. And yet, it shoots these 93 grainers unbelievably accurate. I mean, it'll just blow your mind. But you have to get them in, you have to get the NSA 93 grainers sized to 358. The 356 and 357 will not shoot anywhere near as accurately as these 358 size. All right. Also, for some crazy reason, these FX hybrid 357 slugs shoot laser accurate. And then, as an added extra bonus benefit, the FX and JSB 81 grain domes and these AEA domes, and of all things, the 77 grain Hades domes with the little cutout on top. These pellets shoot super accurate. You just have to adjust the velocity on them to the right setting. For example, these Hades do not shoot well on max power, where I've got the rifle set up. So I have to lower down my side wheel to about number 3. And then these will go every shot in the same hole. It's just a matter of fine-tuning your hammer spring tension with your little micro wheel. I might keep my gun at its highest velocity possible at this reg setting, and then just lower it. The only thing I've had to lower the hammer spring tension, which lowers the velocity in turn, the only thing I have to lower it for is these Hades. All right? Everything else just shoots like crazy. Before I hang up this, I'll tell you about my little Athlon rangefinder. This is one of the first ones that's good out to about 1,200 yards. Of course, I never use it that far, but it is an amazing rangefinder for the money. It's fantastic. So if y'all don't have one of these, I highly recommend you get one. I very, very, very highly recommend this FX radar chronograph and the Emperor if you got a 357. And I absolutely positively recommend you get an Athlon scope like an Ares or a Cronus if you're looking for a high-end scope, or at least compare them. You know, go somewhere you can look through one, and then go look through one of those high-dollar element scopes. And rather than spend $26.95, or what was it? No, excuse me. Rather than spend $2,000 or $2,800 for an element, check out a Cronus for $1,700. And like I told you, actually, the Cronus are selling at Optics Planet today. I don't know for how long, but today for less than $1,500. All right, you'd be a damn fool to buy anything else and spend more money when you can get a Cronus for $1,500. You'd be out of your mind to buy an element for $2,000 or $2,800. All right, that's just my opinion. I'm a fairly opinionated guy, and I'm extremely critical when it comes to spending my money and trying to get the best value for my money, because I've been a working man all my life. All right. So there's my dynamic 357 VP with my MDT SRS skeleton stock that I customized to my benefit. My new 580 bottle on the front. And of course, you can see I attached an Atlas 3-inch radius backed Picatinny rail on the front with some Permatex 2-part epoxy, and never ever had a failure and never will. So don't do what I do, kids, at home, but this is what I do. Okay? Y'all have a nice day.